Watching Bayern Munich 7-1 demolition against RB Salzburg had me inspired, but also had me thinking, could I create one of the most insane Football Manager tactics? So this tactic isn't exactly a Nagelsmann replication, but what I have done is selected Bayern Munich and created a tactic based around their strike force. There's so many great attacking players, and what I've done is try to fit them all into one team. So of course we have tested this with Bayern Munich where we scored 130 league goals, but we also tested it with Lyon as well. Can we top PSG to win that Ligue 1 title? We shall see a bit later on. But if you are enjoying my type of content, make sure you are subscribed, like this video, leave a comment. All of that will help the channel. Also shout out to my Patreons. But for now, let's get stuck into this video. Welcome back, people. Of course you can see that we are FC Bayern Munich, so if you are going to attempt to use this tactic, make sure you are a decent enough team. Of course, if you do pick, I don't know, Burnley, someone predicted to finish very low in the league table, is very unlikely you will do very well with this tactic. You will concede a fair share of goals. So the key is actually to have great defenders. At Bayern Munich, we do have very good defenders, and at Lyon, compared to the rest of Ligue 1, we also do have some very good defenders. So that is key information. Of course, this will not work fairly well with relegation battling teams. And earlier I did mention this was influenced by Julian Nagelsmann, so the shape is slightly different, is similar. So in real life they did use a 3-4-2-1 in our shape. I'm not exactly sure what to call it. We will see it in a minute. I've probably named it 3 different formation names. I've given it a 3-1. We'll see in a minute. We will see in a minute. But also what I noticed from that particular Bayern Munich game was how strong they were playing vertically. They were very good in the central channels, and that's exactly what we tried to capture. The middle or the central zones of this tactic is the most important. I mean, we only have 2 wingers, and that is literally about it. So we don't have much covering out in the wider areas, but in the middle we do have a lot of players, and that is where we are really, really effective. But enough of me talking about it. Let's go to the tactic screen and have a look at the tactic. Well, let's create it actually. Let's build the tactic. So now we can have a look through the Bayern Munich squad, where there's going to be some absolute fantastic attackers. Robert Lewandowski, I mean, he's going to be the main focal point, or he's going to be the focal point of the forward line. Then we have Thomas Müller. Then we have Leroy Sané. We have Jamal Musiala, Serge Gnabry, Alphonso Davies as well. We are also going to be counting him as one of the attackers in this tactic. We have Marcel Sabitzer. We have Kingsley Coman as well. Choupo-Moting, if you want to count him, and Corentin Tolisso. So there's some very good attacking players, or at least some very good players that can play in the sort of attacking areas. And we're going to try and create a tactic where we can basically get the best out of all of these, not all of these players, because of course we can only fit 10 players on the pitch, but we are going to come up with a way to get the very best out of, I believe there's around 6 attackers. 6 attackers, yeah, there's going to be 6 attacking players, or 6 players in the attacking area in this tactic. So now let's head over to that tactic screen. The first thing is the shape. I mean, because of the quality in the side, there are so many different shapes that we could have went with. But of course, Lewandowski, he's going to be the main goal scorer of this tactic, and I believe he's literally the only great striker at this team. There are a lot of great attacking midfielders, but there's just one Lewandowski in this team. Only one, so we are going to be using one striker. Next, and because we're trying to get the best out of the most attacking players as we can put on the pitch, we're trying to get the best out of all of them at the same time. So for me, I felt it was best to go with 3 attacking midfielders. There are so many great attacking midfielders in this team, also wingers as well, wide men, but we are only going to be using 2 wide men, and then in the middle, because we are focusing on that vertical football, we're going to have 3 attacking midfielders. So we're just going to put 3 attacking midfielders in this tactic. Already this tactic is looking juicy, and this is almost the shape, almost the shape. The actual final shape is me putting the central midfielder back into the DM area, and then these 2 wider players, we're going to put them in midfield rather than defense. So now they're not going to be wing backs, they're going to be wingers, getting further forward. And of course, the 6 attacking players will be the 3 attacking midfielders, the striker, and then the 2 wide players. The flaws are quite obvious. When you're on transition, you can get hurt, really hurt down the flanks. But at Bayern Munich, of course, because of the quality of our defenders, they tend to be in the right positions at the right times, similar to Lyon as well. Again, if you do your comparing, Lyon's defenders will be fairly decent in Ligue 1, so they tend to be in the right place at the right time, which again is key. Your defenders will need to be very, very good defenders. So you only really have 4 players in rest defense, but this player will have a supportive duty. So your rest defense is literally your back 3, which is very, very risky. They can be moved about, they can be exploited, but then again, if they are very good, this won't happen often at all. But to try and hide those flaws, we do use wide defenders or wide centre backs at FC Bayern Munich in this tactic, and then in the middle we do have the ball playing defender. So this here is the shape, and of course to try and cover the flaws down in the wider areas, we are using wide centre backs. They should in theory act like fullbacks, but when you watch the games as well, they do not want to neglect their central areas, so it's not all the time they will be defending out in those wider areas because they still have a job to do in the middle of the park. So this here is the shape. Now the next step is trying to work out the roles, the team instructions, and get this tactic really in the groove. So now let's head over to that part of the video. And before we go any further, this video is sponsored by Spitch, so make sure you check out this video, and the download link will be in the description as well. I'm proud to present the ultimate fantasy football app, and it's brand new on the market. And for the next 2 weeks, you can play for free with the chance of winning a prize. You can win a holiday, a Premier League jersey of your choice, Beats headphones as well. I don't know why I'm putting my hand over my head. And also you can win a gift card for your PSN or Xbox, whichever console you have. This app is available for those who are currently in the UK or Ireland, and you have to be 18 years or older. Let's talk about the app. This app lets you build your own team, you collect valuable points, your captain importantly gets double points as well, and this allows you to battle it out with other people. You can join competitions, or you can battle it out with people like me who just recently joined the app. Make sure you message me to find out how you join my group. But on a weekly basis, there's weekly competitions. It's not just based on one season. There are weekly competitions, and weekly you have the chance of winning your share of £70,000. Now that is a huge injection. The best part of this app though, it just has to be the fact that you don't have to leave it to get any stats. All the stats you need are in the app. Everything you need is in the app, even how to set your own team up. It's all in the app. So make sure you download this app. The link will be in the description below. It's free. Have a go. Have a go. You can win your share of £70,000, or you can come away with a holiday, a jersey, all of that good stuff. Let's get back into Football Manager. Now, the first step for me was how to get the best out of Lewandowski. If this tactic was going to work at Bayern Munich, Lewandowski needs to be absolutely banging. He needs to score goals and then more goals. So we really need to get the best role out of Lewandowski. Looking at his profile, I mean, I'm not exactly sure what he can't do. He can even be a target man. He's 6 foot, his jumping reach is 15, his heading 17. So even if we really wanted to, we could have used him as a target man, but we're not going to use him as a target forward, sorry. We do have a few roles here, so target forward, complete forward, advanced forward, poacher, pressing forward, and a deep lying forward as well. I personally went with pressing forward. I mean, he is ticking all the boxes for a pressing forward. He does have work rate, so we do want to use that work rate. Well, we want to make use of that work rate, I should say, because again, we are using a fairly risky tactic, so we do need to have every single body on game. So for Lewandowski, I did go for a pressing forward rather than the typical advanced forward. But at Lyon, we did use a pressing forward. Honestly, or admittedly, I didn't even test an advanced forward with Lewandowski. I went straight to pressing forward, and straight away, he absolutely banged. So we are going to be using Lewandowski as the pressing forward. The next attacker that I wanted to get the very best out of, and someone that's always going to be in the team when fit, was Thomas Müller. So the very best for me is right behind Lewandowski, because he then can play make. And if we do go to Müller's profile, the best role and duty according to assistant manager is advanced playmaker. And like I said, we do want someone to be creative in this sort of area, creating for Lewandowski, but also just the creator in the side, because the other two attacking midfielders are going to be more direct, getting further forward, making runs off Thomas Müller. So Thomas Müller needs to be the guy providing the through balls. He's also going to be someone that drops in this sort of area as well, dropping deep to collect the ball from the defenders, from the defensive midfielder, or even the wingers when they have the ball as well, because there could be a disconnect between the defense and the midfield. But with Thomas Müller dropping deep, there shouldn't really be a disconnect. So for Thomas Müller, advanced playmaker on support, and there we go, getting the best out of Thomas Müller. Hope so anyway. Now the next player for me to try and get the best out of, and he's personally one of my favorite players in real life, it's Jamal Musiala. Now again, he's a player that is very good. He can do multiple different things, especially in the attacking midfield area. If we do select that, and again, according to the assistant manager, advanced playmaker, attacking midfielder on support, or shadow striker. Now for shadow striker, we can look at his finishing, 13. That is fairly decent. He's only 19, so that can improve as well. His passing is fairly good. His technique, his off the ball movement, his concentration and decisions is at 12. That could be a lot better, but again, he's 19. He's not going to be the most complete forward or most complete player. And Jamal Musiala is someone that we are going to try and get the best out of. We're going to go for the shadow striker recommended by the assistant manager, because we don't want to use another advanced playmaker, and we don't want to use an attacking midfielder on support, because we do want the two wider attacking midfielders to be getting further forward, making runs of Thomas Müller and potentially making runs of Robert Lewandowski. So Jamal Musiala is our shadow striker in this tactic. The next player, well, we do have a few options here. We can put Leon Goretzka there, but I don't really believe we're going to get the best out of Leon Goretzka in the attacking midfield area. We got Leroy Sané, Serge Gnabry as well. Even though he's not highlighted, they don't recognize him or recommend him to be an attacking midfielder, but he's very good in this area. And we also have Marcel Sabitzer, Choupo-Moting, and Tolisso. For me, I went with Leroy Sané. He did score 4 goals, but he was more of a creative player with 9 assists. And I also did have to use him in the wider areas at times. Another great thing about this team is rotations. Players can play in various different formations, so you don't necessarily have to stick with Jordi Musiala as a shadow striker. You don't have to stick with Sané as the attacking midfielder. I'm talking too much. But for this attacking midfield area, I went with something a little different than the shadow striker. This time, I went for the attacking midfielder on the attacking duty. So this here is our front four: Lewandowski, the pressing forward, Musiala as the shadow striker, Thomas Müller as the creative player, the advanced playmaker, and then we have Leroy Sané as the attacking midfielder. Now for the wider areas, this was more about creating balance for the tactic rather than getting the best out of these specific players. So for Alphonso Davies, I actually believe anyway that he's probably best as a defensive winger on support on the left hand side. But on the right for Serge Gnabry, of course, you wouldn't go for defensive winger right away for Serge Gnabry. You would rather go for the inverted winger or even winger on the attacking duty. But we had to go for a role that was best for the tactic this time, because of course it's the wider areas. We're focused on the vertical football anyway, and it was more about getting balance. That was the most important thing. So for the wingers, Alphonso Davies, he's going to be a defensive winger on support. Serge Gnabry also on the right hand side, he's going to be a defensive winger on support. And now the great thing about this setup here is that we are covering all of the channels. I mean, we've got the left flank covered, we've got the left half flank covered, the right half flank covered, the right flank covered, and of course the central zones covered as well. So when we are attacking, we can really hurt the opponents in many different ways. We can go out wide, we can go right in the half space, or we could just go direct in the middle where we have Lewandowski trying to get through, and then we also have Thomas Müller trying to create. And a lot of the times Thomas Müller will drop deep to receive the ball, and there we can have this in the left half space, the right half space, the flanks here, Serge Gnabry and Alphonso Davies, and then Lewandowski covering the central zones. But now we have the attack covered, it's all about sorting out that defense. For the DM position, Joshua Kimmich, it just has to be Joshua Kimmich, and he's also someone that's very good in multiple different roles. I mean, he could be a ball winning midfielder, a deep line playmaker, a defensive midfielder, halfback. You could literally see that he's going to be very good in all of the defensive midfielder roles. But to help us, we're going to use the player traits. He likes to come deep to get the ball, he likes to dictate the tempo, he tries long range passes, he likes the ball play to his feet, and he likes to hit those wider areas with the passing. So for me, he just needs to be a playmaker. He needs to be someone keeping this tactic or keeping the team going, keeping the team ticking, and of course to try and get the best out of him, we need to use a role that's going to use most of these player traits. So going back to the tactic, we can use a deep line playmaker, we can use a register, or we can use a roaming playmaker. For this tactic, we went with the register. An intriguing role, someone that's like a deep line playmaker, but they have the freedom to move about. They have a lot more license to move away from the position to try and create for the team. So we are going to be using a register. And for this role, he isn't necessarily meant to be a defensive minded player, but again, if you are going to be using this tactic for a different team that's not going to be a great team like Bayern Munich, you may want to tweak this position here. Maybe you want to use a defensive midfielder, maybe a deep line playmaker, someone that's going to hold his position. You may not necessarily want a register, someone that's going to be roaming around and leaving their position, leaving this area at times pretty free. But Joshua Kimmich, he's a great reader of the game. He's got decent positioning as well. He is very good, and we are allowed, I should say, and we do have the freedom to use someone like Joshua Kimmich. Now, lastly, for the defense, I mean, we pretty much sorted it already anyway. In defense, we will be using a wide centre back as the two wider defenders, and then in the middle, we will be using that ball playing defender. That there wraps up all the roles. I mean, in goal, we are going to be using a super keeper on defend as well. And that wraps up all the player roles. Now it's time to create the team instructions. So now it's time to try and create the identity of the team as well. For the team instructions, how are we going to play this type of football? So for the mentality, we will be using the positive mentality, something that is risky, but also it does balance out some of the risk as well. The players will get further forward, but when there are opportunities to do so, and generally in possession, we will just be knocking the ball about patiently, waiting for the opening rather than trying to force it. So we are going to be using the positive mentality, of course, play out from the back as well. That's going to be important to stop those defenders just hoofing the ball, because if the ball just keeps coming back again, teams can just exploit those wider areas. So we are going to be playing out from the back. Interestingly, the attacking width is going to be set to wide. I generally just leave this instruction alone, attacking width. A lot of my tactics, I don't even touch this, but today we will be using attacking width on wide. Now the idea is to get the ball into those wider areas, and that should free up some space in the middle for our team to do their thing in the middle, because that is where we really want to focus our attack. So though we are looking to play the ball in the wider areas, it is kind of a decoy, it's kind of a false instruction to get the ball out wide, and that is to actually attack in the middle to free up space, and then the players in the middle can do their thing. So the attacking width is set to fairly wide, or wide even. The approach play, we are going to be passing the ball into space, get the ball into the player's path rather than their feet. And for the chance creation, in the final third, we are going to be sending in low crosses, and we will also be working the ball into the box, where you will see some nice intricate play outside the box. In transition, when the possession has been lost, we are going to counter press, of course, put the pressure on the opponents right after losing the ball. When the possession has been won, we are going to go on the counter. Just look, we can have 6 players just running forward, putting some pressure on the opponent's defense. And for the goalkeeper, you can distribute the ball, roll it out. This instruction means very little. You don't even need to use it. You can literally just go without. And the goalkeeper, I mean, it's up to him to pick the right decisions. But you also may not necessarily want to just stick with one instruction. You may not necessarily just want to distribute the ball to the centre backs. If the opposing team are looking to stop you from playing out from the back, I mean, you could find some troubles, you can find some issues if you just keep playing it to the same players all the time, because it is quite readable. So for the goalkeeper in possession, this is down to you. You don't have to use it. I turned it on and off. Again, I just read what the opponents were doing. If they weren't really pressing us, then I tend to just roll it to the centre backs, and that kind of forces them to try and put pressure on us. But if they're already pressing us very high, then you don't necessarily need to use anything at all. And lastly, and you probably guessed it, we will need to press pretty high. You don't want to sit back, especially with this tactic as well. That is actually causing you more harm, more danger against your defense. You do want to press high, and then for the trigger press, we are set to more often as well. Prevent the short goalkeeper distribution, and the defensive width is set to standard. Now remember, this is the Bayern Munich version. Bayern Munich are absolutely fantastic on this game. Of course they are. They have some fantastic players. with Lyon, they do also have some nice players, some very good players, especially when you are comparing them against the other teams in Ligue 1, but they're just not Bayern Munich standards. So we do have a different version which you should be using generally. I mean, if you are a team like Bayern Munich, I don't know, Barcelona, Juve, a team that's just out of the world compared to the rest of the teams in the league, then you may want to go for this version. But at Lyon, this is the version we did go with. A few tweaks, minor tweaks. The attacking width is now set to fairly wide rather than wide. The advanced forward is now an advanced forward, not a pressing forward. I meant to say that pressing forward is now an advanced forward. The DM is now a ball winning midfielder rather than a playmaker, and the right-sided attacking midfielder is now a shadow striker again rather than the attacking midfielder. And that there are the changes between the Lyon version and the Bayern Munich version. I would generally go for the Lyon version, but I did have to walk through the Bayern Munich version because that was the original and that was literally the main idea. The only reason I created a Lyon version was because other people did question why I used Bayern Munich. That was literally the whole point in this tactic. But that there is the team instructions. Now we can look at the player instructions as well. Sorry. So for the wide centre backs, they do have take more risk, cross less often as well. The middle defender, he has absolutely nothing. The register has closed down more often. He also has tackle harder, mark tighter. The wingers, they have no instruction whatsoever. The attacking midfielders, the same. The advanced playmaker though, he does have dribble more, roam from position, tackle harder, mark tighter. The pressing forward has take more risk and shoot more often. That is literally it. That is everything you need to know about this tactic, how I created it, why I even created it as well, and hopefully you guys have fun. Reminder and sort of a disclaimer, this usually works or tends to work or will work with very good teams. You cannot pick a relegation battle side and think this will work. I mean, you can test it, you can have fun, you can even take ideas. That is actually the main reason of these videos anyway. That is the purpose, for you guys to take ideas rather than just downloading it straight away. You can download it straight away, of course. Not everybody has time to create tactics. Some people have lives, they have jobs, they have kids. Some people just cannot sit time, spend hours creating a tactic. So this tactic is available for download as well. But also, if you are trying to create your own tactic, you can use ideas from what I've done, and hopefully you guys can create an absolutely insane tactic as well. But that there is the tactic. Now let's get stuck into those games. So the results. In the Bundesliga, FC Bayern Munich unbeaten. Of course we're unbeaten. Bayern Munich are just too good. So we've played 34 with 129. We drew 5, lost none. A goal difference of 109. Mental. In the Champions League, we got knocked out in the semi-final by Liverpool. No embarrassment, but I was hoping that we could get to the final at least. In the DFB Pokal, we do have to play that game. That is the game that we are going to be playing later on in the video. And in the German Super Cup, we managed to win that tournament. So looking at the stats, I mean, we pretty much dominated absolutely everything here. We had the most points per game. We scored the most goals with 130 goals. That's absolutely ridiculous. We had the most shots for, the fewest shots against, the best pass completion, the most possession, for the most tackles won. We aren't in the top 8. That is actually good news. For the dribbles made, we topped that. For the most clean sheets, we topped that. And for the fewest conceded, we topped that. For the top goal scorer, Robert Lewandowski with 46 goals, Marcel Sabitzer with 17, Jamal Musiala with 17 as well, so we definitely got the best out of Jamal. He also had 13 assists, which is the second most assists in the league. Serge Gnabry with 12, Joshua Kimmich with 12 as well, Leroy Sané and Lewandowski with 10. For the most shots for Lewandowski, no surprise there. For the most man of the match awards, I mean, this is kind of a rip-off because the man of the match awards for our team is literally going to be shared out rather than going always to one player like it did with Haaland at Dortmund. But Lewandowski's in the list, Joshua Kimmich, Musiala as well. Joshua Kimmich with the most key passes, so again, we got the best out of Lewandowski, it seems, Musiala and Joshua Kimmich as things stand. Leroy Sané with 97 as well, also on that list. Best pass completion, we got Nicolas Soule there. For the most tackles won, nobody there. For the most dribbles made, we do have Serge Gnabry in the list with 104. Most clean sheets, Manuel Neuer, of course. and for the fewest conceded, Manuel Neuer once again. And now we can look at the data hub. So for the attacking efficiency, we were aggressive and clinical. We weren't really expecting anything else. The defensive efficiency as well, quiet and impenetrable. Now for the scoring, we were high scoring. We did have high quality shooting as well. For the goal output, again, high quality shooting with strong defending. For the possession, we infrequently won the ball because a lot of the times we had the ball, but we were also reliable in possession. My favorite thing, the XG table. We're supposed to score around 105 goals. We bettered that by 24, scoring 130. For the expected points as well, 84.4, but the actual points was 92. Expected to finish first. I mean, if we could finish higher than first, we probably would have. And for the team attacking, you can see here for the goals per game, 3.82. Expected goals per game, 3.110. 3.10, shots per game, 23.38, shots on target ratio, 48%, for the dribbles per game, 30. I mean, everything here, we are just outperforming the average in the league. Lastly, quickly as well, we will look at the squad stats. Robert Lewandowski with 57 goals in 45 starts. Marcel Sabitzer with 25 goals. Musiala with 21. He didn't play for us. Let's get the under-19s out of this. Thomas Müller with 16 goals as well, 16 assists, and Choupo-Moting with 10 goals. For the most creative players, Thomas Müller with the most creative in the team. Joshua Kimmich with 15 assists, Musiala with 15 as well. Leroy Sané with 13, so too Serge Gnabry. Goretzka with 12, so too Lewandowski. Marcel Sabitzer on 9. But that's the Bayern Munich results. Now let's fairly quickly look at the Lyon results. And here we are with Lyon as well. We can look at how we started the season and just look at the season results before looking at that league table. So we started off with a 5-0 win. We beat Nantes 5-0 as well. And then we won 3-0. We won 3-2. Some high scoring games. We won 4-0 2 times in a row. Another 4-0 victory there. We also won 4-1, but we went away to Nice and we lost 2-0. We went away to PSG. We lost 2-0 there as well. And if we look at PSG at home, we drew at home. They had 10 men. I was fairly disappointed. Again, some high scoring games, 6-4 here. So you can see the defense, it can be a bit temperamental. We also beat Monaco 6-0 as well, if I remember correctly. Yes, we did away from home. We beat Reims 6-1 as well. Again, another 6-0 win here, a 5-2 win here, and some high scoring games. But how well did we do in Ligue 1? Looking at the competitions, we came second. We came second to PSG. They had 100 points. We had 99. We had 1 point deducted because of a crowd disorder. And that's real life. But even so, we still would have came second anyway. We did lose 4 games, and all 4 of those games came away from home to Brest, disappointingly. Imagine we just beat Brest. We also lost to Monaco, OGC Nice, and of course PSG. We only drew 1 game, which was against PSG as well. And in the French Cup, we were the runners up, losing to PSG again in the final 3-1. And looking at the squad stats as well, you can see that the goal scorer, the striker, is the main man, Moussa Dembele. He scored 58. Remember, at Ligue 1 as well, or at PSG, at Lyon even, we did use an advanced forward, not the pressing forward. He did have less assists than Lewandowski as well, so you can see that sometimes the pressing forward can be a fairly decent creative player. Lucas Paqueta, he scored 19 with 13 assists. Romain Favre, he got 11 goals. Ndombele got 10 goals, and Ryan Cherki also got 10 goals. Hossam Aouar got 26 assists. Favre got 19. Ryan Cherki got 15. Lucas Paqueta got 13. And Emerson, someone that's not very good at Chelsea but fairly decent at Lyon, managed to get 11 assists. But that there is enough of me talking. Oh gosh, let's get into these games. So first, we are going to play the cup final with Bayern Munich, and then at Lyon we will play against Monaco. A fairly decent team, a fairly decent match. I'm not exactly sure which way that game is going to go, but it will be interesting. But let's get stuck in to this Bayern Munich game. So for the Bayern Munich game, this is the team that we are going to go with. And as you can see here, it's literally the exact same tactic as we created. RDF's insane. 3-1-5-1, a 3-1-6. I wasn't exactly sure what to call it. A lot of my viewers as well, because I did preview this on Twitch. If you are on Twitch, make sure you follow me. I do my live streams there as well. I'm struggling to talk right now. But here we go. we were struggling to name this tactic. We gave it the 3-1-5-1, 3-1-6, 3-1-4-5 something. That's it. Let's get stuck into this game. Let's get to the dressing room. Go out there and prove to everyone that you guys are winners. So we're going to point fingers as well. Make the difference, make the difference, make the difference. And there we go. Let's get stuck in. Last game as well. Last video, I got hit with a copyright because I had some audio that I shouldn't be playing anyway. It's just a little 3-second sound clip. Of course, when we score, it's our celebration music, but we can't use that. So instead, we will be using... Ejection. Again, if you are in my streams, you will be familiar with... Ejection. Let's make sure the actual settings are correct. Let's go, because we do have an early highlight. Joshua Kimmich. And there we go. 1-0 already. Lewandowski. Ejection. Come on, boys. The cup, we got one hand on the cup already. One hand on the cup already. Lewandowski just nods it in. 1-0. My God. Here's LVD for Mönchengladbach and Bomb. Plays it back to Jan Sommer. Ginter now. There we go. That's a nice tackle there. But, sorry guys. Sorry. If we go back a little bit, you may see how we could have been exploited if Mönchengladbach were better, and of course if Lucas Hernandez wasn't a very good defender. So here we have Lucas Thuram, the defensive winger, hasn't quite covered Lena here, and if we play a little bit, he has the potential ability or the opportunity to play in Lena here, and this is when Mönchengladbach can then go on a counter attack or on attack even. But we do win the ball and then we go on a counter attack of ourselves. Musiala with the ball, plays in Lewandowski, he's through, he chips the keeper and it goes over the bar. Here's Leon Goretzka now. Musiala. Oh, that was close. So close. Almost two. LVD now. Thuram. Good defending by Upamecano. Lewandowski wins the ball. Manuel Neuer. Hernandez. Musiala. Oh! Lewandowski. Thomas Müller. Oh, that was in. We could be 2-0 up here. If we just a little bit more clinical, we could be a little bit more clinical in possession. So now we can look at the heat map as well. You can see Thomas Müller, he's kind of dropped off slightly compared to the other two attacking midfielders. We have the two wingers as well. Stretch and play. But as you can see, the central zones is very key for us. Very, very key. And that is where we're trying to attack the opponents. And you can see here how far deep we are pushing that opposition back. What I should have done is put this on key highlights because we're having a lot of chances, but they're not showing us anything on key highlights. Oh, here we have Nicolas Sula. So for Lyon, actually, I might watch that on extended. Referee! Send him! Oh, hey! That's ridiculous. That was ridiculous. That was Leroy Sané now with a free kick. Oh! What a goal. Leroy Sané. 2-0. Mönchengladbach have hardly had anything. 2 shots the whole game, 1 on target. What a finish. What a finish. Today has been all FC Bayern. Upamecano. Sabitzer. Thomas Müller. He's got to finish that. And I believe this is now the end of the game because it's going to run down the clock. Yeah, we're going to run down the clock. And there we are. Bayern Munich are double winners. We did pick up the DFB Pokal as well. Well, the treble, if you count the Super Cup as well. Which, of course, is kind of expected at Bayern Munich. You are expected to get good results. But, of course, when you're trying out an insane tactic like this, something that is really, really unbalanced, results can go either way a lot of the times. It can go either way a lot of the time. So, for me, personally, it was a good season for Bayern Munich. And there we are, completed. Bayern Munich, 21 shots. Mönchengladbach only had 2. But now we're going to load up that Lyon game and see how well they do. Maybe we should watch that on extended. But here we go. And like I said earlier, this version is slightly different for Lyon. This should be kind of the original now. And the other one is more if you are a fantastic team like Bayern Munich. But let's get stuck into this game. Hopefully, again, we pick up the points. Let's go. Come on, Lyon. There's Lyon now. Lopez, Boateng. Plays it to Roman Favre. Mendes, Boateng. Here's us attempting to build up from the back. Well done. Played, boys. De Silva, Emerson. Nice. Could have played the 1-2, but Emerson did not look for it. Then there. Nice and composed. Well done, plays. Boys. Crazy. Keep mixing up my words. Roman Favre, there's Dembele! Oh! Oh, come on. That was beautiful play. Sometimes we just got to finish these one-on-ones, man. These chances. The amount of times I missed those sort of chances is ridiculous, man. This is someone that scored over 50 goals. But yeah, come, bury that. Here we go. Playing out from the back again. But we kick it long this time. That's a poor kick. Here we go. Trying to play out from the back again. Denier, Boateng. Mendes, Ndombele, Boateng. That's a nice ball to find Lucas Paqueta. He finds Ndombele. He's through now. Come on. Oh, my God. The amount of times we missed that chance is ridiculous, man. Oh, we missed that. Honestly, we missed that chance so many times. Here's Boateng. Roman Favre. Awesome hour. Here we go again. Come on, Dembele. This time, surely. This time, surely. Come on, boys. Surely this time we had to put this ball in the back of the net. Uh-oh. Not an instant reply. Not an instant. I think it's going to be an instant reply, you know, guys. I think it's going to be instant reply. It is, you know. It is, look. It is, man. Oh, so predictable. Oh, we missed. Ha-ha. Come on. And that there wraps up half time. And now here we go for the second half. And Ndombele looks for Dembele, but he gets cut out. And they kick it long and it falls to Boateng. He picks up the ball, brings it forward now. Ah, skips past the challenge. On some hour. Lucas Paqueta plays it through Dembele. Surely it's 2. It's Dembele. Oh, come on, boys. Oh, there's no highlights. Oh, God damn it. I forgot to add the highlight. Goals. Awesome hour. Punched out by the goalkeeper. Lucas Paqueta picks up the ball. De Silva, Emerson. Plays it all the way back to Lopez. And he kicks it forward. Lucas Paqueta. Dembele! Oh, it's a hot shot! Oh, no, is it off? Is it off? No! Referee says it's goal. He points to the spot. Lopez just gets it. It's a plain. It's a simple goal. It's a simple goal. Now, what we're actually going to do, funny enough, is remove play out from defense. Because that is also sometimes where you can struggle because the two wingers are so far ahead. Your defenders sometimes just do not have the option to play it out wide. We win that. Hossam Aouar. Ndombele. Ah, he's just running. That was selfish. I mean, Monaco have had a lot of shots, but they haven't really had anything meaningful. Long throw. Played, but they haven't had anything meaningful. We can actually have a look at where they've been shooting from. Maybe it's just all long shots. But here, they have a chance. Ah! What are we doing here, boys? Kick it long. And the other, keeper. And if we do remove this, they just kick it long all the time. Adishile with a yellow card. Who's on the free kick? Hossam Awas, too far. Too far. So yeah, we can see here, they did have a lot of shots, but they're not really threatening. I mean, if we look here with the block, these are block shots, I believe, with the line through it. That means block shots. Here are the off-target ones. You can see here, Myron Baidu, XG 0.03, another XG of 0.04. So it's not like they're actually creating some meaningful shots, though they are getting shots at goal. And there we are. The game has been wrapped up. It is Lyon 3, Monaco 1. But that there, unfortunately, wraps up the video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. It's a crazy tactic. It will not work with every single body. But again, the tactic is there. The video is here to help you guys create your own. That is literally the point in these videos. But I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Make sure you download the app as well from Spitch. And I will see you guys soon. Make sure you are subscribed, like this video, leave a comment, all of that good stuff. I'll see you guys soon. Stay safe. Peace out. That hurt.